It's my great honor to welcome you to Unity in Lynnwood, where we affirm the inherent dignity, value, potential, and right to be of every life as an emanation of that one life we choose to call God. To explore on-campus and virtual opportunities for those aged toddler through 18, please contact that program's director. Our radical welcome includes all. Please stay in touch through the social media platforms of your choice by visiting unityinlynnwood.org, by registering to receive electronic communications, or by downloading the Breeze app. Those who download the Breeze app will receive a free gift through the mail. And if you would like to pray in strict confidence with one of UIL's trained prayer chaplains, whether for support or celebration or regular maintenance, start the process by contacting that program's director. We believe in the capacity of an elevated consciousness to give rise to an elevated experience. And UIL's Prayer Ministries is eager to support you in doing just that, whether virtually, in person, or by telephone. Finally, we believe giving in its highest form is a spiritual practice, and we're grateful to be among the beneficiaries of your spiritual practice. May your generosities of hand and heart return to you in untold ways as they reach into our greater world to bless. So again, welcome. Everything Unity in Lynnwood has is available to you. We're honored by our shared journey.
Stumbling through our humanity, we're just walking each other home. We're just walking each other home.
Good morning. Oh my goodness, answer back. And it's not an echo. Good morning. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I am the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood, and it is our grand delight to welcome you this morning, this beautiful Easter Sunday. Thank you for being here. Shall we open our time together this morning with prayer? Wherever you are, in your home, on your couch, your chair, relaxing, reposed on your bed, or here with us today in our beautiful sanctuary, go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Take a breath with me and allow your body to relax. And take another breath, allowing your eyes to gently close, and allow yourself to come fully present to this moment. As we journey through life, let us ask ourselves the hard questions so that we may shed the fears that stop us from living as boldly and bravely as we intended to when we chose to clothe ourselves in physical bodies. The spiritual path asks us to take a long, hard, honest look at ourselves, to strip naked in front of the mirror and risk being authentic and vulnerable. What does your mirror show you? The world around us gives us the opportunity to see what we are made of, to see what lurks beneath the surface. It gives us the opportunity to stop and see with new eyes. Are we blaming, or are we growing in compassion? Are we standing in judgment, or are we rising above our fear? Are we blindly meeting only our own needs, or are we taking care of each other? Are we clinging to the past or reaching for a brighter future together? Breathe. Holy Week called to us to let go of old ways of being, to no longer cling to what gave us comfort, and to embrace a higher vibration of love and harmony, compassion and wisdom. In doing so, we arrive in a place of vulnerable openness where we can be born anew. Like the caterpillar who spins his chrysalis in faith, having no idea of the stunning butterfly it's to become. During times of reflection, we become open to the idea that there is more to the story, even if we have no idea what that is. No crucifixion means no resurrection. Thich Nhat Hanh tells us that most people are afraid of suffering, but suffering is a kind of mud to help the lotus flower of happiness grow. There can be no lotus flower without the mud. Today is Easter. Today is a holy, symbolic time of rebirth. Today holds the opportunity to be born into something new, something higher, into a fuller expression of our God selves. Today we have the opportunity to open ourselves in faith to that which we are giving birth to, or what is being birthed in us. Be not afraid. We need not fear dying to the old, for a glorious rebirth awaits us on the other side of what we confront and release. But we may need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable to get there. Be not afraid. Let us press into the energies of Easter. Let us press into the energies of spring after the dark days of winter. Let us press into the energies of rebirth after a time in the dark womb, of light after a time in the darkness. We can see with new eyes. Let us see with new eyes. Wake up. Let us rise up into a new way of seeing. In this blessed, eternal now moment, breathe in the truth of your being with an earnestness and passion and open vulnerability and expectation that you have never done so before. Know yourself as the I am, a perfect idea in the mind of God. Allow the wisdom and unconditional love that is part and parcel of your being to lift you up, bursting through the layers of the old into the bright light of a new day, a fuller expression of the divine as you. Peace be with you. And so it is.
Christ has nobody now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks, compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands Christ has nobody now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks, compassion on this world. Christ has nobody now There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. There is one love. There is one power. There is one life eternal. God lives through me. I am that love. I am that power. I am that life eternal. God lives through me. God lives through me. God lives through me. God lives through me.
Good morning and happy Easter to everyone. I'm Jennifer Lovejoy and I'm here with a couple announcements on behalf of your Board of Trustees. So if you have not heard, 2021 is Unity in Lynnwood's 40th anniversary. So what a blessing that is. And in celebration, your Board of Trustees has fashioned a 40-day program beginning on Sunday, April 11th, and culminating on Friday, May 21st, with a garden party, tentatively scheduled for 6 p.m. And we have 3 themes for this 40th anniversary: gratitude, faith, and love. So we invite all to join in gratitude for what has been by participating in projects like finishing the gazebo area, interior and exterior painting, restoring our nature preserve, and cleaning up our grounds. We invite you to join in faith for what will be by contributing to our fundraiser of $30,000 dedicated to a variety of restoration projects, including parking lot repair and refinish. And we've already received $1,000 for that, so that's really terrific. And finally, join in love for all who share the journey by participating in our land blessing ceremony and by holding our community in prayer throughout the program. Register now by going to our website or anytime to refresh, renew, revitalize, restore, and re-energize our physical campus as we recommit and reconnect to each other as a community. And finally, we are very proud and very happy to formally recognize Reverend Nina Clark's recommendation for ordination as a Unity minister. Unity ordination is conferred upon certain individuals after years of classes, practicums, internships, writings, demonstrations, interviews, more demonstrations. If it sounds like a lot of work, it is. Reverend Nina has completed all of these requirements while serving us at the same time with her grace, brilliance, commitment, good humor, and love. Upon formal confirmation by Unity Worldwide Ministries, this will be Reverend Nina's second ordination and will represent the third ordained minister, Unity minister, to rise through Unity in Lynnwood. So on behalf of UIL's Board of Trustees and each of you, and in celebration of her accomplishments, we have secured a special gift for Reverend Nina, which is scheduled to arrive by email this afternoon. And Reverend Nina, we do hope you enjoy that with our love, gratitude, recognition, and support. And we also invite you to mark your calendars now for Reverend Nina's ordination ceremony, which will be held on Friday, September 3rd at 7 p.m., and more details will follow as they develop. Thank you, and congratulations.
Oh, you have an awesome board of trustees. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy. We are not sharing things from hand to hand. What I would have Reverend Nina Clark realize is that there is a card here and that the flowers are also yours. Take them home. Allow them to remind you of our love and gratitude, please. Real people. Thank you for being here. What a privilege, what a pleasure, what an honor to share space with you again, and what an honor it is to welcome each of you to this unfolding, evolving experience we call Unity in Lynnwood. As always, without change, my name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. Welcome. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. That admittedly short mission statement is so broad on idea. Don't you agree? Practical spirituality? You mean I can use it? Well, yeah. Welcoming community? Does that include me? Yeah, it does. It includes you. Every week I like to support this mission statement with one of the 6 bullet points which we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. Today I've chosen the first of 6. Take a deep breath with me. It reads as follows: we offer a metaphysical teaching which encourages regular spiritual practice, including prayer, meditation, affirmation, denial, service, and study. You good with that? Your chaplain today is Elizabeth Neumann. Again, if you would like to pray with somebody today, start the process by contacting that program's director. If you in the house would like to pray with someone following this morning's service, simply stay seated. Social hour follows every Sunday gathering. You may register for this unstructured time of connection simply by visiting the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org or by clicking on the clickable link found in your social media chat window. And finally, you, dear friends, are welcome to drive through the Unity in Lynnwood parking lot between 12:30 and 1 o'clock this afternoon. I will hand you an Easter egg that commemorates the terminus of this series, and I will hand it to you with a grabber through your car window. Drive through, wave high, connect with your community from car to car. It would be a pleasure to see you. Words of invocation. You're welcome to allow my voice to serve as your own, to read along, or to simply close your eyes if you like. They read as follows: though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And so it is. was about 1,000 years after what today's Christians would call that first Easter, that the idea of substitutionary sacrifice, the idea that Jesus died for human error, took form in a writing issued by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The earliest followers of the way, you understand that the term Christianity does not appear in your Judeo-Christian Bibles. The earliest followers of the way would not have related to such an idea at all. Even the statement that Jesus gave his life a ransom for many is best understood to say that his vision of a kingdom marked by equality, inclusion, peace, plenty, justice, not just for a few, but for the many, quite simply wasn't for sale at any price. So now maybe this alone is the gift that someone tuned in to get today. I mean, if you join us with decades of guilt because Jesus died for something you did wrong, allow this to be the very moment in which that psychic burden is cast to the cleansing winds of new understanding. Happy Easter. Now, as many of us have discussed over the past week, Christianity's Holy Week started with two processions that entered Jerusalem on a spring Sunday in the year 30 or so. The collision of a royal procession led by Pilate, rooted in imperial supremacy, bloody violence, and a peasant procession led by Jesus, rooted in universal equality, unconditional love, inaugurated Christianity's first Holy Week as the epic climax to some 1,000 years of escalation. In other words, Christianity's Holy Week started with tension, with something of an old way of being colliding with something of a new way of being, we might say. Now, on Monday, Jesus cursed the fig tree, drove the buyers and sellers from the temple, and overturned the tables of the money changers while saying, "Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations?" Jesus was emphatic, impassioned, irritated, cranky. We might say Christianity's Holy Week continued with decision. Holy Week continued with that moment in which that old way of being was quite simply no longer acceptable to Jesus. Now, on Tuesday, according to at least one of our accounts, Jesus participated in an ongoing game of trap, escape, counterattack with the authorities. Should we pay taxes to Caesar? Asked one, to which Jesus' yes would have alienated his peasant audience, but to which his no would have legitimized his persecutors. So there, you understand, is the attack. And Jesus responded, "Well, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God's." And that's the escape, you see, because it was understood by Jesus and many of his contemporaries that everything belonged to God. So should we pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus cleverly answered, well, Caesar should get everything Caesar deserves. And there's the counterattack. So from the tension of Sunday and the decision of Monday, our epic presents us with a Tuesday marked by resistance. And can't we always count on the old way to rise in resistance to the new way, whether in our individual lives or in our collective lives? Now, on Wednesday, an unnamed woman poured expensive ointment over his head. This was something of a burial ritual. You understand? An unnamed woman poured expensive ointment over his head and received a stunning accolade when he said, "Truly, I tell you, wherever the good news is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her." For all who had heard the prophecies of his death and resurrection, she was the first one to believe him. And this isn't surprising, for the women were there from the beginning of his ministry. The women were there from the beginning of his ministry, and I have to believe that we continue to live in the painful throes of pretending for so long that they weren't. So this woman is, for the writer of the gospel named Mark, the first believer. For even more, she's considered to be the first Christian. So from that original tension through decision and resistance, we find our Jesus narrative acknowledging the important role of finding another who would believe in his ministry, finding another who would believe in his wisdom, finding another who would believe in his vision. Now, Thursday was marked by the Last Supper, prayers in Gethsemane, Peter's 3 denials, the arrest, the interrogation, and the condemnation. And while Thursday easily could have been themed as betrayal or fear, disappointment, I chose to suggest that it's commitment that found Jesus standing upon that threshold between what had been and what would be, between the old way and the new way, and choosing to step across that point of no return. By Thursday, Jesus certainly knew that he would die. You understand? I mean, arguably, he could have left the festival and lived to fight another day, but he didn't do that. And so it was that on Friday, Jesus was delivered to Pilate's soldiers. He was tortured and humiliated, even undergoing something of a mock coronation in which they clothed him in a purple cloak and crowned him, but with thorns. He was crucified, a form of public terrorism reserved for those who deny imperial authority, and he was buried. Now, until this moment, the story of Jesus might have slipped into anonymity along with those of countless other Jews crucified by the Roman Empire, countless other Jews whose bodies were left suspended along the streets as dark reminders of the sweep of that imperial supremacy and bloody violence. But from Sunday's account, we read, when the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome brought spices that they might go and anoint him. And early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They had been saying one to the other, "Who will roll away the stone?" from the entrance to the tomb. And when they looked up, they saw that the stone had already been rolled away. And it was in that moment that the story of Jesus established its firm place in history. Now, prior to the Enlightenment, the truths of a tale were never perceived to be dependent upon its facts. And this is certainly true of the culture from which this narrative arose. The truths of a tale were never perceived to be dependent upon its facts. In other words, it would have been well understood, it would have been a given even in both Jewish and early Christian cultures that 40 meant something well beyond 40. That regaining sight meant something beyond regaining sight. That haircuts meant something beyond haircuts. That dragons and beasts and horsemen meant something well beyond dragons and beasts and horsemen. So while a modern loyalty to facts might stomp its feet and demand, was there really a good Samaritan who rescued a man? And was there really a wayward son who returned to his father? And was there really a whale and a giant and an ark and a leper and 7 horses? Can women truly turn into salt? An informed loyalty to truth stands in resolve and answers it simply doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter because an informed loyalty to truth understands that the spiritual value of these stories is neither inflated nor deflated by their facts. There are universal stories that are particularized by noble souls. There are universal stories that are particularized by noble souls, such as Dorothy from Oz, and Frodo from the Shire, and Rocky from Philadelphia, and yes, Jesus from Nazareth alike. And because the stories are universal, it doesn't matter whether the noble souls who particularize them are real or not. It doesn't matter because there's something within us that recognizes and relates to truth regardless of the factuality or non-factuality of the messenger. So while Easter can be embraced as a story about Jesus, or about a singular event in time and space, and which can be celebrated by some, I would ask us to embrace Easter as one such universal story about humanity, or about an ongoing process across time and space, and which can truly be celebrated by all. I would suggest Easter as one such universal story that tells each of us that as evolving, unfolding souls, we will ultimately stumble upon points of tension in our lives. I will not ask for a show of hands. We will reach the very edges of the only lives we've known, only to draw lines in the very sands of consciousness, as if to say, I may not know which direction is next, but I do know it won't be this direction any longer. It's a story common to every addict who's finally reached bottom, every abusee who's finally had enough, every visionary who has truly discovered a dream. An old way will collide with a new way, you see. I would suggest Easter as one such universal story that tells each of us that as evolving, unfolding souls, we will ultimately have to upset the tables of the money changers of the way things have been for far too long. We will ultimately have to challenge the stale status quo, whether within or without. That stale status quo that thrives on the known and the knowable. That stale status quo that would leave us suspended in that abyss between enough pain to prompt change and enough fulfillment to prompt growth. Full well knowing that this stale status quo will use every possible vehicle to express its resistance. One need not look too far to see this dynamic playing itself out in today's world. At which point I would suggest Easter as one such universal story that tells each of us that as evolving, unfolding souls, we will do well to seek some peace and to garner some encouragement from the company of those who love us, from the company of those who support us, from the company of those who believe in us. Maybe you are near one such person today. Jesus needed the woman. Dorothy needed the lion. Frodo needed Sam. We will ultimately have to cultivate the support of souls willing to share the weight of whatever it is that's rising within us. Have you surrounded yourself with those who love you, who support you, who believe in you? Oh, I hope so. I would suggest Easter has one such universal story that tells each of us, that is, as evolving, unfolding souls, we will ultimately have to stand upon that threshold between what has been and what will be, recognizing that the choice is no longer both and, but either or. We will ultimately have to stand upon that threshold between what has been and what will be and decide whether we will retreat to the comforts of the remembered past or step into the unknowables of the imagined future. We will ultimately have to make a commitment. You understand? And in the end, I would suggest Easter as one such universal story that tells each of us that as evolving, unfolding souls, we will ultimately have to release that which has been for that which would be. We will ultimately have to, in the way set forth by Jesus of Nazareth, die to the old, that we might be born to the new. And Jesus approached this final dynamic and embraced perhaps even this darkest of human fears. I mean, he stepped even beyond his human incarnation, you understand, that he might be able to whisper to each of us. Every beginning requires something of an ending. Don't be afraid. Every dawn requires something of a dusk. Don't be afraid. Every spring requires something of a winter. Don't be afraid. And of course, every resurrection requires something of a crucifixion. Don't be afraid. So yes, this is Jesus' story. But you know what? I don't think Jesus walked his walk to show us what was possible for him. I don't think any truly enlightened being is about his or her own specialness. I think Jesus walked his walk to show us what's possible for us. I think we lost something, you see, and I think it started with the early church. I think we lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by replacing follow me with worship me. I think we lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by minimizing, you are the light of the world, for I am the light of the world. I think we lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by abandoning, do as I do, and the kingdom is within, and these and greater things shall you do. I think we lost something when a politicized patriarchy distanced the ministry of Jesus by reframing a timeless example as an ancient exception. We don't honor Jesus by gathering in buildings such as this on holy days, such as these, uttering rote words, performing prescribed rituals. We honor his life. We honor his mission, his ministry, by recapturing something of what was lost, by following his footsteps, by testing his promises, by embodying his examples. It was the great Irish poet John O'Donoghue who said it this way: we were sent here to search for the light of Easter in our hearts. The dawn that is rising this Easter morning is a gift, and we are meant to celebrate it and to carry from this holy place its gifts of healing and light and the full courage of new beginnings. Take a deep breath with me. If you're comfortable doing so for a minute or two, let us reflect. Let us give ourselves to a realm of inspiration and wisdom beyond language. Let us entertain the possibility, just for a minute or two, let us entertain the possibility that there is a restoring, renewing, rejuvenating, resurrecting presence within each one of us, lending its comforts, offering its assurances, granting its peace. No matter what is up in your life, let's take a minute and consider that as an Easter message.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
Thank you, Dr. Richard. Thank you, Matthew. Happy Easter, everyone. I don't know whether to be nervous about people being in the audience or being the camera. This part of the service that we refer to as offertory is really a time of intentional practice. So let us today go ahead and do just that. Let us know together in this moment that there is but one life, one power, one presence back of all that we see. And knowing this, let us affirm that we cannot be separate from this oneness, from this isness. And therefore, all that is true of it is true of us. As a drop to the ocean, we are one with it. And knowing this, let us become a clearer vehicle for all that God is, trusting that the ground of being knows what it is doing through and as us. And so let us each pray in the manner most suited to you and lift ourselves into the highest state of consciousness we can muster in this moment with a glad and grateful heart. And in doing so, we live our unity tenets into being. From this state of consciousness, let us join our hearts and minds together and hold our offering, whether intended or a piece of paper, knowing that both are simply symbols of abundance. And know with me, with your community, that through the sharing of your abundance, that you and thus we are a blessing to all. And so it is.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, God and say Amen.
You get nervous? Thank you for being with us this morning. Happy Easter, Unity in Lynnwood. Happy Easter. I hear you singing. You want to sing. Oh, isn't that a tough one? Such a pleasure to be with you. Such a pleasure to bask in the nobility that is you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for this Easter gift. To register for any and all Unity in Lynnwood events, visit the calendar page of the website, unityinlynnwood.org, or click on the link provided in your social media chat window. Standing events, Interlude, Reverend Nina Clark. Ordained Unity Minister, Reverend Nina Clark's Wednesday service, 7 o'clock p.m., 30 minutes of breathing, and as it is stated, remembering the truth of you. Raise your hand if you would like to remember the truth of you once in a while. Yeah, let it be stated for the virtual record that there's value in that offering. Small group ministries offerings include UIL Connects, Students of Myrtle Study Group, and the Search for God Study Group. That's studying the writings of Casey. Wholeness class, Reverend Nina Clark. Ordained Unity Minister, Reverend Nina Clark, teaching starting this Tuesday. Did I get that right, Reverend Nina Clark? This Tuesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific. It's been written basing our study primarily on Joel Goldsmith's book, The Art of Spiritual Healing. We will also weave in the wisdom of Myrtle Fillmore. That's a Unity co-founder. Myrtle Fillmore, Frederick Bales, and other New Thought teachers and pioneers. There is more to wholeness than healing the physical body, so don't let perfect health keep you from delving deeper in our metaphysical study and practicum of wholeness. Reverend Nina Clark, ordained Unity Minister, Reverend Nina Clark facilitates East and West Interfaith at UIL. How proud we are to welcome Hriman and Padma into our programming. In April, followed by Rabbi Ted Falcon's Spiritual Saturdays. Join Hriman and Padma. Oh, okay. You lost me. That's okay. Hriman and Padma are coming in from Ananda Bothell. They are exploring the beautiful synergy between philosophies of East and West as set forth in the great autobiography of a yogi written by Paramahansa. Thank you. Well done. Followed yet again, Spiritual Saturdays with Rabbi Ted Falcon on the 17th, 11 o'clock a.m. Take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath and let us close with what we might call prayer. But yet again, I like to remind, I like to consider, I like to entertain the possibility that you are always praying. And so the act which we call prayer, the act, the practice, the spiritual discipline, the technology we call prayer then is an act of seeking to elevate the quality of prayers that are already underway within us. Can you go there with me? Yea. Then let's close our eyes and let us seek to elevate together. Let's come together and let's entertain the possibility that beyond that world of outer appearances, there is life. There is life. You're welcome to touch your heart center if you like, to remind yourself that there is life. Life is the truth of you. Beyond appearances of confusion, incompletion, let's remind ourselves that there is wisdom. There is wisdom. Let's remind ourselves that there is a sufficiency to the order of the universe. Everything necessary for the work of your soul to be completed has already been provided. Let's elevate into that. Let's consider that there's a harmony back of it all. Ever at work, ever seeking our recognition, seeking our noticing, seeking our alignment, ultimately seeking our cooperation. Harmony longs for my cooperation. Life, wisdom, sufficiency, harmony, higher perspectives of the universe which we together navigate, perspectives which we do not abandon when we reopen these human eyes of ours, but we seek to bring them forth. We seek to allow them to become the new lenses for that navigation. And always for the privilege of elevating together, for the privilege of remembering together. Noble souls. Noble souls. We allow gratitude to be the spirit with which we close this time together. Closing as we always do, with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you.